Welcome to the East Bank Sports Show. My name is Noah.
And I'm Matt. Today we have a whole list of topics we're going to be covering, talking about mostly the Browns game coming up this weekend with the 49ers and all the situations that are surrounding that. Everything from injuries to game predictions. Should be a good time.
Yeah, so I want to start it off with my biggest gripe this week. And it's kind of funny that this is my tone when we were both just talking on the last episode about how we need to all take a deep breath as Cleveland fans. But I'm upset. I'm upset right now, and I'm not going to lie.
Oh boy.
We have had this stigma of the Browns being the Browns for as long as I've been alive. I don't get why we had to be so spotty about what was going on with Deshaun's injury. I get the investment we put in him. I get all of that. I get everything that goes into this Deshaun Watson thing. I get it. Why can't the front office just be clear like every other organization in the NFL? And I don't think that's like an Andrew Berry problem per se, because I still think he's a fantastic GM. It's embarrassing for us to be like, oh yeah, Deshaun was cleared for that Ravens game. And even if he was or whatever, he's very much not cleared now, which makes me think they were just saying he was cleared, which like I get holding your cards close to your chest. I'm going on a bit of a tangent, hitting a bunch of random points right now. I just think a big problem I've noticed is the overthinking of this front office has been crazy to me. Not this front office, this regime since the Haslams bought it. I don't get it. I don't understand why we can't just be clear. I don't get why it's that big of a deal. Quarterbacks get hurt. Players get hurt in the NFL. We saw it with Nick Chubb in week 2. We've seen it with a lot of players this year. Yeah, Deshaun's hurt. Why are we beating around the bush for 2-3 weeks about it, and then finally when it's Thursday, oh yeah, we're starting PJ Walker. Matt, do you have any thoughts? I just kind of ranted a little bit there, but I kind of wanted to set my opinion on the table.
No, I mean, I honestly didn't know that you had such strong feelings about it. I completely understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree at all. The two main thoughts I had there, just listening to what you had to say, was about the not necessarily being clear on what's going on. Not saying that we need to be like any other team in the NFL or what, but I mean, you look at Miami right now with Mike McDaniel. He absolutely refuses to give any sort of update about an injury until an injury report comes out. Won't talk about it, won't speak about it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should be hiding injuries until they officially go on paper, but I don't see the harm in waiting until something is officially set to start talking about how bad it is, if that makes sense.
I get it, and I understand, and I get keeping your cards close to your chest. But it's such a sketchy sounding, looking, feeling situation when you go back and forth it's been 3 weeks. It's flat out been 3 weeks of, is Deshaun hurt? Is he not hurt? Is he hurt? Is he not hurt? And I get not wanting to show the opposing team what's going on with your quarterback, but there's also fans involved in this. There's ticket prices for these games on Sunday. I paid $100+ to sit nosebleed for the Ravens game to watch us, not even play watchable football on offense.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
I'm just an advocate of, I don't know, man. It's embarrassing to me that we have to do this back and forth and we get nothing out of anybody in this regime ever. It's always, smoke and mirrors. And I get it in terms of holding your cards close to your chest, the analogy I keep using. I don't have to like it if I get it, though. It's embarrassing to me, flat out.
I do want to bring up one other point, which is a conversation I remember me and you having almost immediately after Cleveland traded for Deshaun.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you remember, but right around all the time that all the trade rumors were happening with him, Cleveland had been told we were out of the running, weren't going to get him.
Yeah.
And then news breaks, hey, he's coming to Cleveland, followed 30, 45 minutes later by, yeah, we guaranteed him $230 million. That's why he's coming.
Right.
And I remember a conversation we had where you said something along the lines of, like, I went, oh my God, I thought we were told we were out of this. This is insane. And you went on to say something along the lines of, yeah, that's how Andrew Barry goes, though, is he doesn't let you know what's happening. He doesn't let you know what's coming.
I do remember this conversation, and I do stand by it in terms of roster moves, I guess. But I don't know, especially with his past, it just makes everything look sketchy to me, man. I think there's a lot of warranted uh, anger and frustration about how this whole thing was handled. And I think for me, it isn't even the fact that we kept our cards close to our chest or whatever and announced DTR last minute to start during that Ravens game. I think it's the fact that it came out that we're saying that Deshaun was cleared. And now they're talking about multiple more weeks makes zero sense. More weeks onto this because it's a lot more serious than they thought.
I would really be interested to see. I don't doubt that he was cleared to play against the Ravens. I wonder if something in the attempt to warm up for Baltimore or in the past couple days trying to throw a football something, I wonder if it got worse.
But he didn't even practice this week. There was one day where they rumored that he was throwing inside, which was probably another smoke and mirrors thing. Because why would he be throwing inside? you know, they
In
have
case
four
his
fields on that practice field.
case his shoulder pops out of the socket and all the media's right there. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
disagree with you. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate a little bit here.
No, and I appreciate it because it helps the conversation go better. I think it's it, it's just frustrating to me that we've known this is going on and we can't be clear about it. I mean, look at the Colts. The Colts are playing good football right now, even with the roster that they have. Good football, decent football. You know what I mean? And they've been pretty adamantly clear about the Anthony Richardson injury, and he's young, and they need to protect him like no other because he was a top draft pick.
He looks like a future player. Like
Yeah,
I definitely I I am frustrated myself as well. It is very frustrating to see other teams and other front offices succeed under what I would consider to be better circumstances, and we seem to be spinning tires in the mud every week.
yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. It's just the antics, and I think this is what bothers me the most, right? And I think I've said that like two or three times too, but it feels like we're going backwards right now because we're starting a third quarterback this season, 4 games in, 5 games in. And I have nothing against PJ Walker. I almost kind of believe, hindsight wise, that we should have started him over DTR just because he was more ready for the moment right now because he started in the NFL. I gave my opinion about DTR and that whole situation last episode, but I don't know, man. I've sat here and watched the Browns try 40 different quarterbacks, and it sucks because the last time we saw Deshaun play, Deshaun to me looked like Deshaun.
It seems like we always come so close, and then something just rips away that sense of joy,
Yeah,
whether it's an injury or a draft bust or a player that can't stop smoking marijuana.
Yeah, it's funny to me now that whole rule's changed, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know. Do you have anything else for this Deshaun thing? I'm just frustrated with how it's kind of been handled. It feels like it's same old Browns. Like we're trying to protect everything. It feels like we're doing too much at the end of the day. To
Yeah,
me, it feels like they're doing too much.
that's what I was gonna say. It just feels like we're trying to be one thing, and then we get halfway through it, and we're like, wait a minute, this isn't gonna work out, and then we just change course, and it's not a good look for Cleveland football. It's really not.
It's a panic move, and that's what I'm used to seeing in years past when we don't have a defense even in that Ravens game that is playing bona fide top 5 level football right now. It's frustrating. I hope and we'll cover the 49ers game in a little bit here, but I hope we're still on a good course here. I have faith in Stefanski still, like I've always said. I'm hoping that we can just keep moving forward.
I'm
So,
right there with you.
yeah. So, it would almost been better to transition when I brought him up, but PJ Walker's our starting quarterback this week. How do we feel about it?
Obviously not great. It's never a good feeling going into a game with, in my mind, a third string quarterback.
I'm trying to think how to formulate this. I'm at a point where if the option's him or DTR, obviously, I am more comfortable letting him go out there because he's had experience starting in the NFL and he's played some solid football at times too.
Absolutely.
Trying to go back to more of a positive note now that I ranted. I liked PJ Walker. I liked the story of playing in, what was it, the AFL, the XFL,
XFL.
every minor league football team or football league that we've had in the last 5 years. Well, my favorite was what was that one? The San Diego Fleet and all them. They shut down after like 5 games, but I watched it every week.
Yeah, wasn't that like the first or the second one to pop
I'm
up?
looking it up real quick, even though it's super off topic. The San Diego Fleet was a part of the Alliance of American Football.
Oh, so that was the AAFL.
The AAF, I think, or it was the AFL. I'm clicking on it. I forget what their thing was. The AAF. Anyway,
Oh,
sorry, that was super off topic. I think he's played solid quarterback minutes. I think he's right now the better option out of the two.
yeah,
I think he gives
absolutely.
us the best chance to win. Am I happy about it? Not really. I still want it to be Deshaun, or I mentioned trading for Jacoby last week, which I knew wasn't going to happen, but a man can wish, I guess.
Bring in Kirk.
Bring in Kirk, yeah, I'd be down for that too. Could you imagine Kirk's salary and Deshaun's salary on
Oh
our
my God.
payroll? That would be
Can Kirk
so
play O
bad.
line?
Right. That's another thing that I kind of forgot to mention when we were going through our topics today. Did you see Joel was out today or this week too?
Yeah, I did.
Joel's out. Posick is questionable and Njoku's questionable. Let's talk about Njoku real quick
What
and
a
then we'll start.
fucking beast.
Yeah,
And moron.
well, yeah, both 100%. But the picture of him that surfaced over the week, insane that he played football like that. I don't even know how he put a helmet on. I did see in some of the media pictures today, though, they were doing shots because they're wearing the all whites again on Sunday. That he was wearing like the Gator style face mask that was popular during COVID.
Oh, yeah. That's
So
kind
I
of what I
think,
figured he was doing.
yeah, so that's probably how he made it at least functional.
He's probably got a full shiesty on under that thing.
Right, exactly. I commend the guy for going through and playing the game too, especially after a mistake as dumb as pouring gas on a fire. But
Yeah, I mean, I really respect the mentality of, hey, I made a stupid mistake. I'm not letting this hurt the team, you know?
yeah, I've always been an Njoku fan through his ups and downs, his drops, his catches, his one hander in the back of the end zones, his, you know, all the ups and downs that come with Njoku. I've always enjoyed him as a player and just being a fan of the team. So I wanted to touch base on it just because of how crazy those pictures were of his face and the fact
And
that he still played football through that.
it's really insane.
Circling back to PJ Walker, um, what are your thoughts? You said you weren't happy. I kind of went on a tangent. Give me some PJ Walker thoughts of yours.
I mean, I really don't disagree at all with what you said, given our options on our
Uh-huh.
roster right now. PJ Walker is definitely the best option to put out there. Do I think we have a shot to win this game with PJ Walker as our quarterback? Absolutely not.
So I'm looking at some of his stats real quick.
I think he's thrown like 5 touchdowns in the NFL in three
He's
seasons of playtime.
3 seasons of playtime. He's played 15 games. He's thrown 5 touchdowns and 11 picks on 63 QBR, 57% 58% completion percentage. So about what you'd expect. I was
Yeah,
hoping I'd
I
get
mean,
something a little more meaningful. He went to Temple. His career in Temple, he was 74 for 44. He had a really good senior year, 22 touchdowns, 13 picks. But yeah, I'm happy because he has playing experience. That, I guess we could just transition this into our thoughts on the game. We're playing the 49ers. It's, the best defense in football, an electric offense with Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to go out and say it, and this will probably be the only time you'll ever hear me say it. I think we're losing this game. You'll
I
ever hear me say that I think we're losing a game. I think we're losing this game, and I could see us losing this game by like 14.
I think it's gonna be like a 42-21 type game. No, let me take that back. I don't think our defense is gonna give up that much. I know it's one of the best, most potent offenses in football, but I believe in our defense. I still don't think we win this game, but I
I
think we can keep them under 30.
if I'm going with a number, I think the final score is 24-10. No, I'm going to go 24-7. So, uh, I'm trying to think of what else we need to touch here. Obviously, their defense is fantastic. The players they have on that roster are just bar none the best, some of the best in the NFL.
I mean, they've done a ridiculous job at building a roster.
Yeah, and they have a good coach. They're through and through really good. It's, hoping. Honestly, my prayer is like hoping for some sort of home field advantage. And, just because the fans are there and we're wearing the uniforms, maybe that helps us.
Just
Um,
need Brock Purdy to have the worst game of his career, throw like 3 pick sixes.
yeah, it's really going to come down. This is a good way to talk about it. It is really going to come down to the defense this week. If we're going to win this game, let's talk instead of just saying we're going to lose. Let's talk what the keys are of winning the game. Okay.
If we want to keep this a competitive game, we need to absolutely hold them under 200 yards of total offense and can only let them into the end zone 3 times at most.
I would put out there that I think the defense needs to score this week. I don't know what that looks like if it's a strip sack, and even if it's not like an exact score, you know what I mean? We get the ball on the 5 and we just hand it off to Ford and he runs it in.
Yeah,
I mean, like something like that needs to happen if
the
we want to
defense
pull out.
needs to be able to create points this week.
Yeah, it's not even a matter of, it'd be nice if we could get a turnover touchdown or a turnover in good field position. We're going to need it, especially with PJ at the helm, a banged up O-line, no Nick Chubb. Yeah, man, it's rough out here right now. I can't even,
It
I don't. Go ahead.
seems like nothing's really going right in Cleveland right now.
We got the Cavs to look forward to soon. I'm looking forward to them, I guess. I'm looking forward to watching football though. It's always sad when we have a bye week, so I'm excited to sit down and watch some Browns. It's just everything that's kind of happened. You were hoping the bye week would help mend some of these holes and injuries and problems that we've been having, and it seems like they're going to last a little bit longer than just a bye week, which sucks. But it's also the nature of the NFL.
It just seems like that nature is settled in Cleveland pretty well.
um, there's still a lot of season left, in my opinion, too. Just because this week I'm not feeling optimistic. We have a great stretch of games coming up after this. It's the Colts, I know, next week. I know it's a lot of weaker teams
I
coming up.
definitely remember saying once we clear the 49ers, we don't have a horrible schedule. It's just getting through this week.
We got the Colts, Cardinals, Steelers, Rams, Bear. Oh wait, I'm only going down one side. Colts, Seahawks, Cardinals, Ravens, Steelers, Broncos, Rams, Jags, Bears, Texans, Jets, Bengals is the rest of the schedule. So we are very front loaded, which we've mentioned that a couple of times now, but we've been very front loaded, and now hopefully with a healthy Deshaun, we can go out there and make some of these games win column games, so we can dig out of this and maybe go win a division or something. Still, it's
I
still
mean,
all on the table. I don't know. Did you watch that Steelers Ravens game last week?
I watched a little bit of it. I wasn't paying super close attention.
Yeah, it's just the takeaways, that the fact, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Browns fan and I want to hate on the Steelers, but the fact that the Steelers are in first place of the AFC North to me blows my mind. I know they're a good coach team. I know they have really good culture. But the other 3 rosters in our division are so much better.
It really, that does surprise me looking at it now. But
Um,
there's no, I mean, that's not going to last the season. This division could go to any of the 4 teams in it. Very much
and
so, still Cleveland.
yeah, and that's my point, is this division is still wide open. And just because, we're coming out of this bye week after a disheartening game and we're playing the best team on our schedule this year, yeah, it sucks right now, but 2 weeks from now, we could have a winning record. Deshaun and Joel are back. Njoku's face is healed. And we're feeling good about the Cleveland Browns again. Just because it's 1 week, that doesn't define the season. I feel like that has been the main message that we have portrayed in this podcast is don't take 1 week as your whole season.
I mean, there's always. I just had a really good point and lost it.
No, you're good. I was going to talk about, remember the year we went 7-2, Brian Hoyer was the quarterback and then finished 7-9?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example of, you can't take a certain block of games as your whole season. You never know what could happen, what could change.
Anything can
Deshaun,
change. Like,
just go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just confirming your point of anything can change in an instant.
Yeah, Deshaun could come back, say next week. I think he's going to take another week, personally, just with how the reports have been looking since they officially said that he's hurt. But that's neither here nor there. Deshaun could come back next week with his shoulder feeling better and play another game similar to the what we saw with the Titans. And we're back on track and we're feeling good and the defense is clicking on all cylinders. We've got a bad case of the injury bug right now. Uh, and once we get past that, as hopefully, most good teams try to and then do, win some games and get after this, we still have playoffs in sight. We still are on the right path. There's just been some hiccups the last couple of weeks, and I feel like a dark cloud has been over this fan base, and me included. I mean, I started this podcast episode coming out strong, not very happy, and I'm still not happy about how we handled it. But now that I'm sitting here and talking about, yeah, I still think the 49ers are beating us handsomely on Sunday.
It's like you said, it's just the front-loaded schedule we have this year. Really, this is the last week I'm looking at that it looks like it's going to be one with that dark cloud hanging over us. And we're just going to have to do our best to look at that defense, find the bright spots this week, and get out of it as sane Browns fans can do.
Well, yeah, I've seen a lot of questionable opinions, thoughts, ideas about the whole season online. I'm taking it game by game. I'm being happy with every game we get. I wait all year for the NFL to come back around once it's over and cheer on the Brownies. So I'm going to be happy watching football on Sunday and being in the moment. And hopefully we see something we weren't expecting.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of how the season finishes, once we take that last snap, we're all going to be looking at each other going, damn, I can't wait for football season.
Yep. And then we had one more topic to cover, kind of go back to our fun, more off-topic conversation pieces that we end the podcast with. Matt, go ahead and
talking about things we've seen on the internet a little bit. A few days ago, saw somebody's opinion saying that they believe a Guardians World Series would mean more to them than a Browns Super Bowl. And I was just curious to see how you thought about that.
I know you're a baseball guy, Matt, but if you agree with that opinion, I'm sorry. This town, regardless of how bad the Browns have been and how much pain we've gone through as a fan base, this town is a football town. And I went to the Cavs parade, as I've mentioned in previous episodes. There will never be another sports parade like if the Browns won a Super Bowl. It doesn't matter who's the quarterback. It doesn't matter who the coach is. It doesn't matter how we won it, where we won it. If we win a Super Bowl, I'm afraid. I live downtown right now. I'm afraid I'm going to find my car flipped over in the lake the next day, man.
You know me and my willingness to end up downtown, and I'll probably be down there for a few days when that happens.
Oh, 100%. It'll be the definition of a frat party in downtown Cleveland. I'm just thinking about like Map Room is a very popular bar down here for watching Browns games. We've been together before, I think, right? When you've come up and hung out for a while.
Yeah.
Map Room is such a popular bar for Browns games, even after that place is flooded to the street with people. They're going to have to shut that little bar down, man, because there's going to be people trying to hang from the rafters if the Browns win a Super Bowl, standing on the bar, taking signs out with that. I work downtown too. I'm really curious what that would even look like if the Browns were to win a championship. I can't even. Go ahead.
And have you ever seen any of the maps from Black Ops 2? The multiplayer maps?
Yeah.
They're just burnt to the ground, cars flipped over everywhere, apartment doors wide open. It's gonna be Cleveland.
Yeah, they might declare the city in a state of emergency. They might have to bring in Guard. Yeah, dude. I love everybody can have their sport, right? And it is still at the end of the day, personally, an opinion of what one would be more important to you. But come on. I think every Cleveland fan, regardless of what their favorite sport is, what their background in sport is, the biggest one, the most meaningful one, would be the Brownies holding up a Lombardi.
So, you ready to hear my take on it?
Oh God.
I put them on a very, very, very close level,
I'm
but
not
I would
surprised by that.
have to lean for a World Series.
Why?
The only reason I've been thinking about this since I brought that topic up to you, and I've gone back and forth on what my answer was going to be.
Okay.
The only reason that I could lean Guardians over Browns is the fact of we were so close, and I was so confident that I was going to watch us bring home a World Series in 2016, and we didn't. I have
Okay.
never thought the Browns were going to bring home a Super Bowl, and I'm comfortable with that fact.
How are you comfortable with that fact, though? Like you're
I've lived
telling
20.
me, you're telling me, no. You can wait a second now. I heard your terrible opinion, and I'm talking over you. I'm not gonna let you have your space. You're telling me when you're 12 playing, Madden, whatever, and you win the franchise with the Browns, and they host up the Super Bowl, you didn't get chills just from playing a video game, wanting that to be real life, thinking how great that feeling would be, and you're not even a part of the team. Yeah, that's right. You are quiet for a reason. Anyway,
You told me to
um,
stay quiet so you could talk.
I thought you were thinking. I thought you were thinking. I thought I got you.
I was just letting you have your moment, man. No, I
Sorry,
never
man.
felt like that.
Sorry for the slight. Then I didn't mean to come off all aggressive.
I grew up knowing that I'm looking at a 2-15 season and it's unrealistic. I would absolutely love it. And I think it's getting more realistic season by season. But I just think it's been part of me for the last 21 years that it's like, yeah, I love Cleveland football. I love the Browns. And I do believe it now that it's a realistic thing that could happen. But I think just being so young and having that World Series energy implanted on me is something I'll just never be able to lose.
Man, I just can't agree with you. I'll never agree with you. And I've become such a baseball fan, and I watched that World Series where we almost won it. But I would trade. Here is my hot take to end the episode. I would trade a win in that World Series and the Cavs championship for a Brown Super Bowl this year. That's how much it would mean to me. And
All right,
I'm the
guys, so this
biggest
might be our last episode ever. No, I'm just kidding, just kidding.
I'm the biggest proponent of LeBron being the GOAT, and that being a big part of it too. I trade LeBron's GOAT conversation for one Super Bowl win.
You know, you put the Guardians and a Super Bowl win on the same level or, pretty close to it. Yeah, I'll give you that one. If you're going to put on breaking Cleveland's championship drought as well, I mean, you're out of your mind. You're insane.
I'm glad I have the moment because I was a part of the moment, and
I mean,
I
I'm not
don't
a
know,
big
man.
basketball guy, and I feel that way. I could care less about basketball pretty much. And
But you're telling me, say, the 2016 Browns were a disaster. But say it was the 2016 Browns or the 2016 Cavs. Oh,
if it was, I could have one championship that year, basketball or football, I'm taking football every time. Absolutely. Is that what
what
you're
about
asking?
1 year later? What about 1 year later? Let's stagger it. 1 year. 1 year. Does that change it?
Are you asked like waiting another year to bring a championship to Cleveland
And it's football.
and it's football?
and the
No,
Guardians lose before the World Series.
I would take that football championship
2
over the
years?
basketball.
2 years?
See, I see what you're doing here. The difference is you're saying you would gladly give up ending the streak for a mythical potential ending of the streak, and that just doesn't make sense to me.
In 2024 at the Super Bowl on CBS, 100%.
I would rather have ended the streak way back then and win a Super Bowl in 30 years from now
You would wait
than
that long for
wait
Okay,
another 20 years to win just a Super Bowl.
okay, so we're gonna keep going down a rabbit hole here if we
Yeah,
keep
this
talking
isn't going
about
to end
this.
soon.
But I'm gonna finish it with this question. Replace the football with the Guardians. 30 years from now, you would wait. Keeping the 2016.
Now I'm confused on what you're asking me.
Okay. So, you know how you said you would wait 30 years for the Browns to win a championship to keep the 2016 championship?
Yes.
Would you wait 30 years for a Guardians championship to keep the 2016 championship?
I would be much more upset if the Guardians didn't do it in the next 30 than if the Browns didn't. Is that
I
an
disagree.
acceptable answer to your question?
I disagree. But no, it's not. You have to pick one or the other.
I would rather take the Guardians. I would wait, yeah.
You would wait and take the 2016. Okay. I wanted to see if it would change for you if it was the Guardians, since you're somehow partial to the Guardians winning before the Browns.
I don't know, man. I just always been a baseball guy.
I know you have, and I'm glad I am now too. And that's something we could talk about a lot more when spring training and all that starts ramping up.
Can't come soon enough.
I'll wait a little bit. I had my fill of baseball for a while. I know
that's fair.
Diehard
I
baseball,
mean, I still get my postseason baseball going on right now. I really can't complain.
I've been paying attention loosely. My cousins live in Atlanta, so they're like Braves fans. So I've paid attention loosely.
Let's go, Philly.
I know. My mom actually went to, I think it was game 2 of that series for my cousin's birthday.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I liked Matt Olson when he was still with the A's, so I was like, say what's up to Matt Olson for me. And she kept sending me pictures every time he went up the bat.
That's funny.
So yeah. Is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap this up? We're about 38 minutes in, and we don't really have a time crunch, but I think we about covered everything.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's all I had to talk about.
Yeah, I wanted to get on here, and I'm going to title this Browns Emergency Meeting and talk about all the news that's been going on with the Browns this week, because there's a lot of things that have been bothering me. And I think I got some of it off my chest. I don't think it's going to really change much, but hopefully this isn't going to become – right. Hopefully this whole thing – if I want to leave this episode saying one thing, one takeaway from my rant at the beginning, I really hope this doesn't become a quarterback carousel of trying different guys until Deshaun comes back. And hopefully he comes back sooner rather than later. But I don't want it to be a carousel of who next.
If it turns into a carousel, we're covering postseason baseball till Deshaun's back.
Okay. I'll hold that. The over-under, though, is at 4 quarterbacks, so hopefully we don't have to cover non-Cleveland sports, because that's a lot of extra research for both of us with full-time jobs on the side of this.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
Yeah, just a little bit. But with that being said, thank you for watching the East Bank Sports Show. We will talk to you next week after this 49ers game, give our thoughts on that game, and move on to the Colts, and hopefully have some good news about Deshaun. Thanks for watching, guys.